Okay, sit yourself onto your left. Just come into a good cross-legged position. I haven't put my microphone on. Good cross-legged position, and once you're in cross legs, sitting on a lift, then just spend a moment or two just to identify whether you are sitting evenly or not. So sometimes that realization takes a little while to truly sink in. So sometimes it feels like, yeah, I'm definitely level. And then after a moment or two, you realize that you're not level at all. So just spend a little time just getting used to feeling of sitting with levelness at the seat bones. Hold onto your knees, elevate the heart area upwards, and draw your shoulders down. Look down at the floor. Just look at something that isn't moving. Spend a few moments listening to the sound of your breath. Listening to the in-breath, filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. And listen to the out-breath as you empty your lungs from the top to the bottom. After a few moments, maybe you need to readjust those seat bones, so move the buttock flesh or just adjust on your cushion. Release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste. And with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Listening to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Spend a little time observing your attention. Acknowledging whether you feel just wholly in the moment or whether the brain feels a little distracted. Just acknowledge that without judgment. So my brain feels a little distracted this morning. I'm not sure why, but it's just something to acknowledge so that you can address it. Draw your attention into the physical action of the breath. The breath is something that you shouldn't rush. You just observe it. Feel how the in-breath sounds a little like the ocean, moving in towards the earth, in towards the land, and the out-breath sounds like the ocean going back into the body of water. So it feels as though we're sitting on a beach, And our breath controls the ebb and flow of the water coming into the land and going back into the ocean. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest. Lift your chest up to meet your chin. Lengthen from the armpits into the elbows. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area, and then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb, just a gesture of wisdom, of peacefulness, physical intelligence that we can carry with us into our practice. Before you raise your head, just acknowledge the physical body in 3 dimensions. Raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open, and then hold onto your knees. Hold onto your knees and consciously elevate the heart area upwards. Drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation in through the nose. And then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across your ribs and your shoulders. And then come back to the center, hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Just observing how your body responds to pose this morning. And then come back to the center. Come off the lift and then sit back on your heels and just come into badangulyasana for a moment. So press the shins into the floor, really consciously elevate the heart area upwards and then come forwards, hinging at the hips, keeping the back straight as much as you can as you come forwards. So come forwards rather than come down, although of course you're doing both, but consider it more coming forwards with the torso. Finally bring the forehead down, keep the seat bones pressing down into the heels. Just feel how you broaden and open up the back Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Come up onto your knees. Have your hands as wide apart as the mat. Have your feet as wide apart as the mat. And then straighten the legs. Come into dog down, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Activate the kneecaps. Press the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees. Lift the fronts of the thighs up towards the tops of the legs. Hit the shins, the fronts of the shins through to the backs of the shins. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Pick up the seat bones. Lift the seat bones. And then, a little bit at a time, bring the heels a little closer to the floor. But as soon as you find those little creases at the fronts of between the shin and the ankle, then you've gone far enough. So you have to lift the fronts of the legs upwards in order to bring the heels down. Just stretching out the calves, keeping the spine lifted and long. So you don't have to bring your heels all the way down to get better extension in the calf muscles. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. So I can bring my heels down easily, but then those creases appear. It means that you're dropping the legs. Okay, step the feet forwards, come up into a standing position, and then get a couple of blocks for your hands. A couple of blocks for your hands. Bring your feet as wide apart as the mat, just making sure that you align your feet, your toes in line with each other. Feel that your heel is touching the edge of the mat. Again, tighten the kneecaps, activate the thighs, lift the thighs up towards the ceiling, and then have the hands on the hips, lift up into the chest and hinge at the hips, keep the head lifted. Reach down, find the blocks. So more so than dog down often, this pose, half uttanasana, gives us real insight into how the legs are paying attention. So spend a moment inside the action of the pose. Do the legs feel like they are working evenly? Or is there an innate imbalance? Tighten the kneecaps, press the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees, lift the fronts of the thighs up towards the tops of the legs, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards so that the backs of the thighs broaden outwards. Lift the seat bones, project the chin and the chest forwards. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. If you can go down lower, then do, but not without the consciousness of the action of the legs. Allow it to draw your attention inwards. Draw your attention into the legs, into the spine, into the arms, into the skin, from the face to the feet. If you can go down all the way to the floor, then do, but if you lose the action of the legs, if you lose the action of the spine, if you start bending your knees, if you start rounding your back, then go back to the lift. Just observe how your back responds to the pose. Again, if you feel like you can, without losing that extension of the spine, reach around the backs of the heels, draw in the chest through the space between the legs. But just working with personal observation, feel that there is balance in the action of the legs, balance in the extension of the spine, balance in the breath. Okay, bring your hands into your hips, bend your knees on the way up if you need to, and then come up into your standing position. Just be in Tadasana, observing the energy that has changed through our limbering poses. So continue to fill the lungs from the bottom to the top, to empty them from the top to the bottom. So feel that there is that upward action of the in-breath and the downward action of the out-breath. Turn the palms all the way out so that you rotate the upper arms in the sockets. Listen to the breath. Listen to the inhalation and the exhalation. And then stretch your arms forwards, right out in front of you. Spread the fingers, spread the palms, interlock the fingers, turn the palms all the way out, and then raise your arms over your head. Keep the legs activated like they were in uttanasana. So Tadasana legs, tightening the kneecaps, activating the fronts of the thighs, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards so that you can feel the backs of the thighs broaden outwards. Tuck the tailbone in. Lift from the abdomen to the diaphragm to the collarbone. Try not to poke the lower ribs forwards. Draw them towards the spine. Keep the shoulders away from your ears. Extend from the armpits into the palms. Bearing in mind the elbows, squeezing the outer elbows in. Pressing the palms up towards the ceiling like you're holding the ceiling up with the hands. Breathing from the bottom of the lungs to the top, emptying from the top to the bottom. And then release your arms. Just take a look at the interlock of the fingers. Swap the interlock so that the other index finger is on the top of the stack. And then turn the palms all the way out again, and then raise your arms over your head. Breathe in from the bottom of the lungs to the top. And then gently release your arms and then just come back into Tadasana. Turn the palms all the way out. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, and listening to the breath. And then stretch your arms forwards. Turn the palms all the way out and then keep your arms straight. Try and rotate the upper arms in the sockets, even if it makes you drop the chest. Bring the arms behind you, bring the tips of the fingers together, and then walk the hands up towards the neck. Try and get the fingers up towards the neck behind you, and then your hands are likely to be like this. So then wing the elbows back. So you don't move around, I'm just doing this so I can show you. So wing the elbows back, and then lengthen from the shoulders into the elbows, elbows into the heels of the hands, so that the palms come together. to namaskarasana. It's not instantly the most comfortable of poses, is it? But it really helps with wrist flexibility. It broadens and opens the chest. Just listen to the breath. Take in the inhalation and the exhalation. So one of the things that this pose makes you do is this makes you stick your tailbone out and push the chest forwards too much. So turn the tailbone in, draw the belly button towards the spine, draw the lower ribs toward the spine, lift the heart area up towards the ceiling. If you can lift your toes, then it just brings focus into the legs. Okay, and then gently release the hands, spread the fingers, spread the palms. Resist the temptation to shake the fingers. Bring the palms to face the sides of the room. Just listen to the breath. In through the nose and out through the nose. And then one more time, stretch your arms forwards, turn the palms all the way out, and then again bring the hands up the back. Walking the fingers up towards the neck. The second time, maybe you feel like you can come more easily up towards the neck. Maybe not all the way there, of course, but it might be a little closer. And then wing the elbows back. Lengthen from the shoulders into the elbows, and then the elbows into the heels of the hands. Just breathing even, deep inhalations, deep exhalations, tucking the tailbone in, drawing the belly button and the lower ribs towards the spine, lifting the heart area. And then gently release, just spread in the fingers, spread in the palms, and again turning the palms all the way out, rotating the upper arms all the way up into the sockets. Okay, get a couple of blocks for the end of your mat. You might not need them, but it's good to have them there just in case. So we can do parsvottanasana, but we can do parsvottanasana with the hands in Namaste. That can be quite strong. So if that's too strong for you, you can just come into parsva just the normal way. So you swing your hips around and you come forwards with your hands on your hips. And then you can reach down and find the blocks if you need them. So if you want to go in the kind of normal way, you can do that. Otherwise, we're going to go into it with the hands in Namaste or namaskarasana. So stretch your arms forwards, turn the palms all the way out, keep the arms straight, lengthening, rotating those upper arms in the sockets, and then third time, maybe the hands just shoot up the back. Just bring the palms together, lengthening the elbows away from the shoulders, elbows away from the front of the room, elbows in towards each other. And then step or jump the feet nice and wide. And then turn your left toes in steeply, and then rotate on the heel of the right foot. And then at this stage you have to just feel, are your hips level, or is the back leg hip further away from the leg than the front leg hip? So pick up the heel of that back leg, turn it out, tadasanaize those legs, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards on both legs, but especially that back leg. Keep the back leg really firm, that kneecap really firm, and then come forwards and down. If you lose your balance a little, then you can let go of the hands, reach down to the blocks. Otherwise, come forwards and down, keeping that back heel down on the floor. Keeping those elbows winging back, lengthening the chest along the leg if you can, keeping the head lifted. Okay, and then release your hands down to the floor, just lengthen into the spine, and then bend that front knee, step forward, and then come up into Tadasana, and then put the blocks onto the other side. And then come back into Tadasana. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Stretch your arms forwards, turn the palms, and maybe the arms just shoot up the back now. That's maybe a little optimistic, but perhaps they get higher each time. Just find your Tadasana. So remember, Tadasana is the legs turning inwards. The legs are straight, tightened at the kneecaps, and the fronts of the legs are turning inwards so that you can feel the backs of the thighs broadening outwards. Step or jump the feet apart, nice and wide, and then turn the right toes in steeply. Rotate on the heel of the other foot, and then turn that back heel all the way out. Bring the hips level, in line with each other. Turn the fronts of the thighs consciously inwards, lift up into the chest. Feel level at the hips. Come forwards, lengthening forwards, pushing from the toes into the heel of that back foot. And then come down. So don't be in a rush to bring the head down. Be in a rush to keep the head lifted, to keep the spine extended, to keep the hips level. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose if you can. Okay, and then release your arms, bring the hands onto the floor, onto the blocks. Just extending the body away, and then bend the front legs, step forward, bring the feet together, and then come back into Tadasana. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Good, and then just bring the feet hip width apart. If you've got a problem with your back, then rather than hanging all the way down, you can just come forwards, lengthening forwards with your hands on the back of a chair or on the tabletop or a windowsill. Otherwise, have your feet hip width apart, raise your arms, hook the thumbs into the crease of the elbows, and then come forwards and hang down. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Again, activating the legs so that they feel like they are working evenly. Okay, and then release your hands down to the floor. Bring your hands into your hips, bend your knees on the way up if you need to, and then come into Tadasana. Just observing how your energy has changed. Listening to the breath. Okay. We're going to come down onto, I want you to sit on a lift and then have a belt where you can reach it. You might also need a couple of additional blocks, so have those where you can reach them if necessary, and then just sit yourself on the blocks. So with a lot of seated poses, we can quite often do these sitting directly on the floor, but this one you do tend to benefit from sitting on a lift, so make sure you feel level at the seat bones. Stretch the legs away, have the hands to the sides, and then lift into the chest. I want you to really consciously push into the heels. Push into the heels, pull the toes towards your kneecaps, and lift up into the chest. Just get your belt, and then throw your belt around your feet. Push the feet firmly into the belt, pull against the belt so you lift up into the chest. Turn the fronts of the legs inward so your big toes will stay together, but your heels are likely to separate. Activate the kneecaps, lift up into the chest. Keep working to extend the heels away from the hips. Okay, and then relax. Just keep the belt around the right foot, just cross the belt over so it stays pretty much in place. And then keep the right leg where it is, and then the left leg, I want you to bend it and then to bring it back into virasana. And bring the knees together. So trianga, mukhaikapada, paschimottanasana. Now at this stage, you probably feel perhaps that the seat bones don't really feel level anymore. This bent leg seat bone, it feels like it's really lifted, and the other one feels quite heavy. So just sit yourself up a moment, and then just slide the blocks over to the side so that the left buttock bone is kind of just suspended in the air. So that is more likely to bring the hips more level. So just adjust that buttock flesh. You can have the left buttock bone off the block altogether, and then reach for your belt. Have the belt around the ball joint of the foot, and then lengthen from the hip into the heel. Push the foot really firmly into the belt. So the ball joint of the foot is this top joint here, just from the kind of ball of the big toe across to the little toe side. Have the belt around the ball joint. Keep the knees together, lift up into the chest, lengthening that heel away from the hip, rolling onto the front edge of the seat bones. So although the left seat bone might be just hovering in midair a little, just breathe in, lifting the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, to the chin. Now if you've got a bad back, you may very well want to stay here. Make sure the knees don't slide apart. So you might just want to stay here, lengthening the back of the leg from the hip into the heel. If there's no problem with your back, or you know that your back will cope, then you can shorten the distance. But you've got to really keep this straight leg turning inwards like you were doing in Tadasana, to keep you level. To keep coming forwards a little at a time. If you can reach around the foot, then do. If your thumbs are on the top of the foot and your fingers around the back, then bring the thumbs around with the fingers. So at this stage, you'll probably feel, oh, right, I feel like I'm rolling out that way. So you've got to really sweep this leg, the straight leg, from the little toe side to the big toe side. Keeping the knees together as much as you possibly can. Coming forwards, lengthening forwards, but keeping that leg really firm, pressing the shin deeply into the floor, pressing the kneecap firmly into the floor. Keep lifting the head. So trianga, mukhaikapada, paschimottanasana. So you come forwards just a little bit at a time, trying to maintain that balance, keeping the activation of that straight leg. And then you come along that leg. But there's a real sense that this leg wants to roll outwards, isn't there? So just keep it consciously rolling inwards from the top of the thigh. So coming forwards all the time, feeling the backs of the calves really stretching out. Okay, and then gently come back to the center. Just shuffle yourself so that both seat bones are on the blocks, and then stretch the legs out in front again. Get the belt, and then bring it around the ball joint of the feet, and then lift up into the chest. Breathing even, deep inhalations and exhalations. Okay, just take the belt away for a moment. Bend up the right leg. Bring that right leg into viparita. Again, maybe just adjust the blocks so that right leg is kind of hanging off the blocks, so that the hips start to come level. Now, if on the other side you felt like you were really rolling over, then maybe it's a problem with the seat bone. So I definitely felt that. So you can put the blocks back, and then rather than moving the block out of the way, you can get a folded blanket and then just prop yourself up on the folded blanket. So you can favour the straight leg side and let the other leg roll off a little. But maybe if you felt like you were rolling over on the other side, then sit a little bit higher, sit on the folded blanket. So Ian, maybe sit a bit higher. It looks like that your this right knee. So you sit as high as you can. So if you can maybe even sit on the end of a bolster, just to give you a bit more height, because it feels like you're very much doing that at the moment. So, and maybe it's because you're kind of protecting your knee. So hold on to the belt and then lift the chest, elevate the heart area up to the ceiling. Activate the thigh of that straight leg. Keep the knees as together as you can. Turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. Hold on to the belt, push the foot into the belt, lengthening the back of the thigh from the hip into the heel, lifting the heart area. And then just a little bit at a time, come forwards. So a little bit at a time, coming forwards, keeping the chest lifted, keeping the heart area lifted. Now maybe with the extra lift underneath your seat bones, you feel a bit more level this side. Keep this straight leg turning inwards. Keep reaching forwards, lengthening from that hip all the way along the back of the leg into the heel. Keep the leg turning inwards, keep the shin turning inwards. Reach around the foot if you can. Keep the head lifted as you come forwards. So sitting a bit higher maybe gives you a bit more space to keep the hips level. Maybe it feels less like you're rolling over this time. Turning the chest to face that straight leg. Okay, and then gently come back to the center. And then stretch out. The legs just sit evenly on the lifts. And then have the belt around the foot. And then lift up into the chest. Breathing even, deep inhalations and exhalations. Okay, and then staying on the lift, just making sure that that lift feels level. Just come into swastikasana, just into straightforward cross legs. Just sitting on the lift. Make sure that that base feels level. And then lift up into the chest, broadening the chest. Feel like you've got your arms behind your back in namaskarasana. So there's real broadness of the collarbones. And then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across. And your ribs and your shoulders. And then come back to the centre. Hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest. And then come around to the left. So feel that the hands are still around the back in the namaskarasana. And then gently come back to the centre. And then come up off the lift. And then just sit yourself on your back. So just come down onto your back. And pull your feet in towards the seat bones. Let the knees fall apart. And then just bring your head down onto the floor, lengthening out the back of your neck as you come down. If your head rolls back, you can put a block underneath your head. Sorry, a blanket, a folded blanket underneath your head. Or a block if they're not too high. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Listening to the sound of the inhalation and the exhalation. Letting the knees fall apart, but if it's too strong on your inner groin, then you can put blocks on the outsides of your thighs. Just to support the hips. Otherwise, allow gravity to draw the knees down towards the floor. Keep the heels consciously pressing together. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling, interlock the fingers, turn your palms all the way out, squeeze the elbows in, and then lengthen your arms along the floor. If there's stiffness in your shoulders, and put a folded blanket or some blocks underneath your hands, just to support your shoulders. Otherwise, feel how the pelvis opens up, how the chest feels broadened and opened, and you find space in the armpit chest. Release your arms, stretch them up to the ceiling, and then again swap the interlock of the fingers so the other index finger is on the top of the stack. And then again turn the palms all the way out and lengthen your arms along the floor. Listening to the sound of the inhalation, the sound of the exhalation. And then release your arms. Just unconnect the hands. Just rest your hands on your lower ribs. Just observing the rise and fall of the chest, the rise and the fall of the abdomen as you inhale and exhale. Okay, draw your knees towards each other. Draw your knees together, have your feet apart for a moment so that you just effectively reverse the action of the pose on the hips. And then take hold of the sides of the mat, either sides of your hips. Really try and kind of tear the mat apart so that you really straighten your arms. Bend your knees in toward your chest and then lengthen the legs up towards the ceiling in viparita karanhi. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then bend your knees, bring your feet down onto the floor. And then just come up onto your elbows. Make sure you're in a really good straight line right down the centre of your mat. Get a folded blanket from underneath your head, supporting the head and the back of the neck. Just making sure that you maintain that good straight line along the floor. Then let the feet fall apart. Let the feet fall apart. The hands away from the body a little, palms facing upwards, just resting on the middle knuckle of the hands. Breathing even deep inhalations and exhalations. Just allow the body to become heavy on the floor. Let the muscles relax, let the arms and the legs completely relax. So that the body feels in one perspective heavy, but when you let go of the muscles, there's an innate lightness that radiates from the bones. So find that innate lightness, that energy of the practice radiating from the bones and into the muscles. To the muscles and the organs. into the flesh and the skin. Just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bringing yourself back into this pose of shavasana. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then roll over onto your right side. Stretch out into the top leg, come back up into a seated position. And then come into cross legs with the hands in Namaste. Draw the breath in through the nose and down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the inversions bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Lift your chest to meet your chin. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. To people, to places, to things that need our positive energy. And then release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you have really lifted your energy and given yourself good, positive